Hey YouTube, this is Pamela, and this is craft and commentary, and I have discovered some new journaling techniques, and I've been going to town, boy, and using acrylics on on construction paper that you know your average second grader uses. Actually, it just works fantastic. The paper obviously is very colorful, as you can see, but what's wonderful is the acrylic paints, and I'm using Gelli Plate along with stenciling and stamping and also spraying and all kinds of things I'm going to be showing you and giving you a little sneak preview here. What's wonderful about construction paper is that you put acrylic paints on, especially these cheap ones, and the cheap ones are the best to use for the Gelli Plate. The paint dries almost immediately because there's a huge amount of absorption takes place. So bright colors, fast dry, so you can go on to your next layer very, very quickly. You don't have to use a heat gun. By the way, I want to mention that I do not like heat gun. I think that in the big aggregate, the big, you know, this crafting hobby, God bless it, I love crafting, and but I don't think that we should be destroying the environment because of it, and it doesn't hurt if one person does a little heat gun, but millions of people doing heat gun, that's a problem. So you're seeing what's going on here. I mean, oh boy, the colors are just wonderful. I just go crazy for the colors. I truly, and I apologize to anybody who's colorblind, but you know, I think that in some ways, if you want to ask me what my religion is, it would be color. I love colors in combination. Now, I've found a few things. I'm just giving you a flip here. I'm going to go back and I'm going to tell you a little bit how I did each one of these, because I'm actually using kind of multimedia, and I wasn't even thinking about that. I use the Gelli Plate, and that's Gelli. Go to Gelli Arts on YouTube. For the very best videos. That's the official YouTube channel for this technique that just knocks my socks off. And it's taking the whole craft world by storm. I don't think that this thing is sort of getting some momentum here, the Gelli Plate. But in combination with other things, and using different kinds of papers. Right here is a vellum, which was probably the most expensive thing going on here. I splurged, and I paid probably full price for this kind of paper at Jam Paper in New York City. There's one on 15th Street near 15th Street, 3rd Avenue? Anyway, I love that crinkle. Okay, so acrylic paints, using everyday items. This is the cap to a deodorant container. So it's an oval shape, and it seems to work so great. But anyway, I'm giving you a quick flip here. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to kind of stop and tell you about... These are, by the way, quite small. They're about, 4.5 by 6. They're kind of like different sizes. So this one has two different stamps, and you can see the first stamp, you know, is translucent through the second one. Okay, boy, the colors just drive me crazy. I just love it. And this was some kind of tape that contractors use. So you can use any kind of household item. This is Gelli Plate, then 2 hits of cosmetic sponge, 2 different, the squares and the tall rectangles. And then we have a stencil. And just use different colors. Oh, I just love it. These, you've seen a couple of these come up now in the flip so far. This is homemade alcohol inks that I made with some of the cheapest ingredients, and that is RIT dye in powder form mixed with rubbing alcohol. Rubbing alcohol is extremely cheap. And I bought about 20 little spray bottles that I will have forever. And then I used some new stencils that I had. So you can see some of the same stencils here from some of the other work. And the stenciling, I can see why people love stenciling. It has just a wonderful effect, and it's just so darn simple, and it has sort of that Andy Warhol look. You know, I don't want to sound pretentious or anything, but you know, it just, I can see why people love stamping, they love stenciling, and they love the Gelli Plate, and I'm in with that camp, boy. I just love it. I can just look at this stuff and it calms my nerves. And this one, by the way, I'm going to do a tutorial sooner or later. You know, I haven't been doing them. I've just been doing flips. If you look at my YouTube channel, you see some of my other videos. I really need to start doing tutorials, and I think when I do, I will have more subscribers, because people just love tutorials. Do it yourself, DIY. This one, this is a stencil, but I used it as a stamp. Okay? So certain stencils, like this one, were much more conducive as a stamp, because as you can see, the open areas here are actually the stamp, the stencil part. So often you have the wrong effect. What you should be having is that the black here should have been the open part of the stencil. So I have to use this one as a stamp, and you know, stencils are really not normally conducive to stamping. Okay, some more gorgeous colors. And I think that what I've discovered is that if you go over 4 colors, usually there's 3 main colors. Well, actually we have basically 5 colors here. We have that little bit of it looks like a deep green here, but that's just sort of an accented color. We have this is sort of a non-color, so it's really the yellow, the pink, and the blue. And then the brown is, you know, kind of out there. So when you start getting too busy, I find that I have a whole stack that I've rejected that I don't like. In fact, this one might be in that category. The color's starting getting muddy. It's just losing its way here, even though it is just 3 colors plus the white background. Crinkly paper, I love it. Okay, this one, some of these at the bottom, we're hitting the bottom here. You know, I really put the best ones on top. So, stenciling, yeah, I'm not really fond of this one. This one's pretty nice, looks good on camera. And crinkly paper, I love it. Okay, but of course this paper is just white, so that's a drawback. And this one was just a Again, 1/4 page of that page that I did, which was stenciling with the homemade alcohol ink, Rit dye, and powdered Rit dye, and rubbing alcohol. This one is on the bottom because the stenciling was just not well crafted. You know, when you have this going on here, this gets in reject territory. I guess I kind of liked it because of the colors were really quite nice. This one is that one stencil that was used as a stencil rather than a stamp, as I was mentioning before. Here we have, sometimes I just clean the brayer, you know. That's the bottom layer, and that's what I did here. And then I did some two different stencils. And here we have that tape that contractors use. It's sort of probably some kind of binding tape, but it is it's very wide, and you put it down and you just stencil with cosmetic sponge. Yeah, I didn't even mention cosmetic sponge. Let's go back. Here is, you know, stencil, and then I took a kind of a exfoliating sponge on the top to give just a little accent, little texture in the blue. First Gelli Plate down, maybe more or less kind of mottled gold with Gelli Plate. I just love it. Okay. And this one, I love these black backgrounds with the construction paper. And by the way, the stenciling I do is with cosmetic sponge. Cosmetic sponge is the best way. And a more or less, not a really wet cosmetic sponge, people. That is when you have that spread. This one I recall just highlighting the little in the middle of these just to give it more interest. Just this plain green stencils, circles was not so good. This is a stencil with cosmetic sponge. Okay, we're going to kind of go fast here. This one was a cosmetic sponge on the Gelli Plate, which basically soaked up the ink in those areas, allowing the pink to show through. That is what I did with that, a star-shaped cosmetic sponge. Let's see, what else we got of interest. Let's see here. Well, I love this checkerboard. I love how the red kind of shows through. The combination of colors, I think, is really quite nice. This one's not so great, but what's going on here was that with the Gelli Plate, you are obviously putting down a very thin layer with the brayer on the Gelli Plate of paint. And then you take anything, a credit card or anything, and just mar that, you know, that sliver of paint. You can do it so easily in 100 different ways with an eraser. It just goes for days, forever, whatever you're the stenciling. And this is very translucent. It's a crinkly paper, and is one of my favorite stencils. On Gelli Plate with just a piece of paper that I made a kind of oh boy, I just took pinking shears on a piece of cardboard, and I put the edge down on the Gelli Plate, and it just gives you a great effect there. This is a stencil. This one's a little bit busy, but I kind of like the colors. Okay, this one, you know, this one is a testament to the fact that with Gelli Plate, you know, you've got to slow down a bit. You've got to, sometimes you just got to slow down, and you have to get just the right layer of paint on your Gelli plate. So anyway, that's about it. I think we're good. Thumbs up, give me comments, subscribe, tell your friends. Bye-bye, YouTube.